Hey guys, God bless you. I'm going to share another prophetic word that has started to come to pass, and it is not in its fulfillment, but there was an event that marked the beginning of that prophetic word, that prophetic dream the Lord gave me is now in movement toward its fulfillment. And so, Father, I ask that you would bless your people. I ask that you would encourage and strengthen them as they see your word starting to come to pass. And we thank you that you give us a warning of these words, of these events in advance to your people, to those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, that you give us a warning in advance so that we know how to prepare spiritually to bolster ourselves on the foundation of Christ, but also to physically prepare for these events. So we thank you and give you praise for that, and we ask for your continued protection and hand of provision over your people in this hour, in Jesus' name. So the word that has started to come to pass came through a dream the Lord gave me on September 13th, 2022, and I posted a video the same day, later that day, and I'm going to post a link to that prophetic word that I shared, as well as a link to the public announcement that word had started to unfold. And so basically in the dream I had, the Lord showed me that the Chinese currency, the Chinese yuan, would rise exponentially higher than the value of the US dollar, and that would be a part of the crumbling of the US dollar and its value, and it would be connected to China, their currency going way above the US dollar. And so the beginning of the fulfillment of that word came near the beginning of December, around the 10th or 11th of December, when the Chinese leader met with the leader of Saudi Arabia to make an agreement to no longer use the US dollar to do business and to purchase oil and things like that, but to actually start to use the Chinese currency instead of the US dollar to make those international trade and agreements, purchases with Saudi Arabia. And so that event was very significant in the financial world, especially as it relates to it being a devaluing of the US dollar internationally. And so I believe that was just a sign of there's going to be huge effects and ripple effects of that decision, but that decision was a sign that prophetic word has begun to come to pass. And so for those of you who have been preparing financially to not be putting all of your trust in the US dollar for months now, as these words have come even before September. I know I shared as early as February of this year, I believe, that the dream I had about the dollar being devalued and then eventually coming to destruction. So I know many of you have been preparing, and that this is just confirmation to what the Lord has already shown you to do. But for those of you who feel like, oh no, this is the first time I'm hearing this, trust the Lord. Don't go into fear, but ask the Lord, how can I prepare for this? What you've said is coming to the US dollar. How can I ready myself and keep your feet planted firmly on the goodness and the faithfulness of God? Come under his protection and his provision by aligning your life with his word. And if there's any areas that you need to turn and come back and say, Lord, this area I've been withholding from you in my life, I want to surrender it over to you. I want to come under the protection that comes for those who walk in the fear of the Lord. And so there's no fear, there's no anxiety in that and we just make that decision to say, Lord, lead my steps and lead them when it comes to my finances. So I pray that this blesses you today, that you're encouraged as we watch the fulfillment of the warnings the Lord gave come to pass, and we can know that we will be under the wing of the Lord as we make him our safety and our shelter. In Jesus' name.